Welcome, Therapy Corner. Welcome to where we talk about what it's like behind the mic and the psychology of D&D. Welcome.
That was decent, and it was a good try. I remember I got told in leadership class and all that fun stuff to give you criticism sandwiches. I think first off, it was a good try, and I'm proud of you for trying. The middle of the sandwich was the criticism. We could spend the next 6 hours going over that, but I can send you a bullet list of all those. Generally, it's not what we're looking for. It's things that even our editing wizard can't fix in post. Keep trying. And also, it wasn't a mistake. It was just the next try. Speaking of mistakes, welcome to the Therapy Corner with the four of us. Today, we're going to talk about episode 2. Ernest started being talked about as cursed. Sioran believes Ernest is cursed. We're not sure if he is or not, but Ernest is pretty convinced, and how the party has reacted and to kind of the building of their friendship. How was that for you, Laird? You're the one that plays Sioran, and you're the one that is pushing the cursed campaign. How's that for you?
Well, that's a good question, because I actually have had some intentional thoughts around Sioran's reactions to Ernest and being accident prone and having the kind of spells go awry that he does. Because while he does often mention that the turtle is cursed in his eyes, also I've made a point that Sioran doesn't directly blame Ernest or be mean to him because of the fact that he may or may not be cursed. So I think that was an important thing to highlight with Ernest's character.
I very much agree. Anyone who's played a wild sorcerer, has played with wild sorcerer, they don't control their magic until much later levels where they get the ability to manage what happens. But basically, the essence of wild sorcerer is magic is crazy and magic is chaotic. And I really think this is a really beautiful connection with a lot of neurodiversity, which all of us are in the podcast, where we are more accident prone. We are much more likely to be fidgeting and break something or kind of miss something that causes an accident that basically affects other people. Ernest is a next kind of explanation of that. And I really like how we've made him curse part of the story, as well as it's not his fault, because it isn't, but it is important. Nat, how was that for you?
Yeah, honestly, I've kind of enjoyed it. So often when I do therapy for neurodiverse folks, so often they just get blamed for including myself, by the way, we get blamed for our neurodiversity and our accident proneness, our clumsiness. It's our fault because we're clumsy, even though we can't control it, which is kind of disheartening. So the way that Sioran doesn't blame Ernest is actually like super heartwarming to watch, and I really enjoy it. So for me, it's actually just nice to see. I watch it play out, and honestly, it's so nice and lovely. It just brings me joy. That's my side.
Reed, how has it been for you to kind of experience this as well? I know Sioran was the one. I play Ernest. How was you to kind of be also part of this team of Ragamuffins?
I'm just really enjoying it because it's just a constant like bringing it in and like kind of a double-edged sword when it comes in, because it's kind of like, a smack in the face to Ernest every time he hears it, but it's used to what he's hearing. And then almost immediately after he gets like that kind of smack in the face every time, Sioran very quickly, and I guess Dilbert once in a while, we take it and just kind of twist it around, like very quickly go, oh yeah, this. And oftentimes we take things that sound like that other people would be throwing in his face and just like completely blame like the opposite way and like crack jokes about them, but like in ways that aren't making fun of Ernest, but just making fun of like what happened and being like, yeah, who cares? Like, get over it, people. Because we're a little fed up with everyone else, and Ernest is nice to us,
Definitely. It's something we see this with anybody who makes mistakes. It's not human to just, not talk about it and move on, but you can talk about it in a way like, oh, that happened. Not your fault. Let's move on, find a way to do it better in the future. And if you can't, we can adapt rather than the more common reaction, which is like to blame the person for what they did. which things can lead to really great things. I think has really been a beautiful story arc of the podcast. We've seen it as we've built other episodes. We've really seen it bloom into a really beautiful thing, to the point that Sioran called Ernest his third best friend on the continent, which Ernest only heard his best friend. What do you guys think of the growing friendship between the three in the group?
Yeah, I really love how we've taken these three misfits who definitely don't belong. Well, maybe Dilbert belongs. I don't know. We haven't explored him too much, but we will, just so we're on the same page. But like Sioran, later on, you learn a bunch about Sioran and how he doesn't belong where he is. And we know for a fact that Ernest just doesn't belong where he was. And it's nice to take these outcasts and just kind of put them together and create this lovely band. And I think, honestly, a lot of D&D is just taking that part of ourselves that we don't think people will accept and kind of playing it through a character. And that we can do something where we take these people who aren't necessarily accepted or wanted elsewhere in the world where they were and give them a place where they do belong. It's actually kind of fun and lovely. It just makes me really happy.
That's a great point. Any other thoughts, Reed or Laird?
Yeah, of course. I think, touching on kind of the points that Nat was making there, the outcasts that we are, we get this like group of three underdogs, and it's kind of hard not to root for the other two people that I'm playing these characters alongside, because we do have this history where we've kind of been rejected or not wanted or just not fit in, and that's reflected like in a lot of people's lives out there. I think that's easy to connect with, and seeing that like this ragtag group of outlaws just kind of gelling and find their place in this new world is a fun thing to play out, because it's kind of bringing the good aspects of the age-old story that I think we've seen in a lot of different places, and I like the way that it has gone so far.
Couldn't have said it better. Reed, any final thoughts?
Yeah, but they're all coming up in the next therapy corner, so I'm not going to use them now.
That's a good idea. We want to leave stuff on the bone. All right. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for all your support. Remember to go follow us on all the socials: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Rate and review us 5 stars on Apple. Again, thank you for all your support. See you on the next quest.